In this video, I'm going to give a quick overview of the way that specifications grading works, what I expect of the students, how I will measure that expectation, and more importantly, how your grade will be calculated. Specifications grading is a mechanism to measure the mastery of specified, detailed learning objectives. Every grading mechanism has the same goal, which is to measure the mastery of a particular content by the students. In this system, the learning objectives will be divided into fundamental and advanced objectives, and the grade will be calculated not on the simple mean of the total points possible that the student has earned, but instead on the demonstration of mastery of specific fundamental and advanced learning objectives. So if I'm going to measure mastery, how will I determine when a student has crossed the threshold into mastery? A student is said to have mastered a learning objective once they answer 80% of the questions related to that objective. So I will set a threshold of 80%. So given a particular objective, if you answer 80% of the questions related to that objective, you have passed it. But if you have scored less than 80, you have not yet passed it. And this is a big component of the theory and philosophy of a specifications graded course, is students may not master an objective the first time that they're exposed to it or the first time that they're tested on it. And yet, a week later, 2 weeks later, a month later, they may have mastered it. So another benefit of using a specifications grading system is the acknowledgement that students may master objectives at different rates and at different times, maybe not on the first exposure, but the second exposure. Now, what this means is what I'm measuring is binary. The student either passes the objective or has not yet passed the objective, and that will come up again here in a moment. So if there's an opportunity to reassess your mastery of an objective, how will we make that work in the course? What's the operation for that? At the beginning of the course, you will receive a certain number of tokens. These tokens can be exchanged for an opportunity to retest an objective you have not yet passed. Throughout the semester, there will be days when we will come and we'll have retest days. And if you want the opportunity to retest an objective, you can come, turn in a token, say I would like to retest fundamental objective 2 or advanced objective 10. I will give that to you. I'll give you another set of questions, different from the one that you previously seen, and you will have another attempt to make an 80%. Another opportunity to retest an objective will be on the final exam. The final exam will represent a set of questions for every objective for the course. And so if you come to the final and you still want to show mastery in an objective you've not yet passed, you'll be able to do that on the final. That's for free. No token is necessary for the final exam. This also means that if you've come to the end of the course and you've got a grade that you're happy with, say, I only wanted a B, or I've got a B plus or an A, and I'm happy with that, you do not have to take the final exam. But you have to let me know ahead of time that you're going to skip the final. But you don't have to take it if you're pleased with the mastery that you have demonstrated so far in the course. What are some of the benefits of this system for the student? One of the benefits, of course, is that from the beginning, it is much more clear to you what the instructor will be assessing and what they're teaching to. What skills am I looking for? What abilities am I looking for? What level of comprehension am I looking for? All of that is spelled out much more explicitly in the learning objectives and will be the target that we look at when we're going through lectures and practice problems and other things that we'll do together as a class. So you have a better idea from the beginning, what is it that the professor is looking for? The second benefit is you'll have a much clearer understanding of the things that you've mastered and that you have not mastered. You may have had this experience before. I know I had it when I was a student. Let's say you go in to take an exam, you feel like you are well prepared, you're going to do well on the exam, you get your grade back, and it's lower than you wanted. And so you're flipping through the exam on review day, and the professor's up at the front going over questions, and it's not clear what went wrong. And if you don't have time to sit down with the exam and really break it down and analyze it, say this question's from chapter 2 and this question's from chapter 3, it can be difficult to recognize why you've earned less than you wanted to. But with a specifications graded setup, every objective and its questions will be clearly delineated, so you'll know. I mastered fundamental objective 3. I did not master fundamental objective 4. Another benefit is that instead of having 3 or 4 big exams, you're going to have multiple low stakes examinations, so that backs off some of that stress. It removes, to some extent, though not completely, the confounding influence of student stress on the measurement that the exam is designed to be. Another benefit is you have an opportunity to retest objectives. If you didn't master this particular objective, you can come back later and try again, which once again should relieve some of the students' anxiety. And I really like the last one, because I think a system like this better mimics what the real world is actually like, the way that the real world behaves. If the chair comes to me and says, I need you to write a report on everything that happens in your research lab. When I turn that report in, I'm not graded. She doesn't come back and say, you made a 60%, you made a 50%, you made an 85%. It either passes or it doesn't. It either meets the standard or it doesn't. If you're out there practicing medicine, you're treating a patient. Patient comes into the ER, they've got a gunshot wound, their blood pressure's falling. You either stabilize that patient or you don't. You don't get a grade from your attending or your resident. You know, well, you did kind of like 35, 55, 75, 95 on that student. It's binary. And so this system, though it's a little different than systems you've probably been exposed to in other courses, I think better mimics the way that the real life works. What are some of the benefits for the instructor? Learning objectives have to be much more clear when the instructor writes them. That's helpful to me. It helps me think more deeply, more concretely about why am I covering this topic? What is it that I actually want the students to learn? That's a helpful exercise for me as I think about the structure of my classes and the lectures that I compose. Number 2, it helps me actually get real, useful data on what's going on with the students. Just like it's difficult for the students to understand what went wrong on an exam, if I'm looking at a class average and I think, you know, that's a little lower than I thought it might be, it's difficult for the instructor to realize where the weakness in the class is. This system makes it very clear which objectives need to be remediated, where the holes perhaps in the lecture and the coverage are. That helps the instructor design a more effective course. And when I am tutoring students, when I'm advising students, when I meet with students about their grades, it will allow me as the instructor / advisor to have a much clearer picture of what's going on with the student, to provide them help, clarity, extra work, remedial problems, practice, whatever it is, to help them reach that level of mastery. Here is a list of the fundamental objectives for this course. You can see all of these here. There are 8 that you must master to earn at least a C in the course. You must master these 8 objectives. Now, as you look at these objectives, you probably can understand why I have chosen them as the fundamental objectives. If a student cannot master these 8 objectives, then they have not demonstrated a C level of mastery for an advanced graduate level genetics course. Now, additionally, there are 13 advanced objectives, and these things typically apply or complicate the previous 8 fundamentals. And so a fundamental objective, for example, is demonstrating the effect of Mendel's first and second law on transmission. An advanced objective is taking that information within the context of family history and pedigrees to identify transmission. Another example would be we're looking at transmission of a particular trait, but now we want to see if a student can analyze that genetic transmission data using different statistical tests like a chi-square goodness of fit or a chi-square test for independence. That's a more advanced topic. How will your grade be calculated? In the syllabus, I have given a diagram of midterm and final grade calculations to clear up how your grade will be calculated. As I previously mentioned, the fundamental objectives represent the bare minimum level of mastery for this course. So in order to earn at least a C, you must pass all the fundamental objectives. Advanced objectives represent mastery above that bare minimum. So if you want to earn a grade higher than a C, you must master all the fundamentals and some percentage of the advanced objectives. It doesn't matter which objectives in the advanced category you master. You don't have to master them all, but you have to master a certain percentage. Here's a diagram showing the way that midterm grades will be calculated. So as previously mentioned, the fundamental objectives represent the bare minimum. By the time we have reached the midterm of the course, we will have covered 4 fundamental objectives. Therefore, in order to earn at least a C, you must have mastered those 4 fundamental objectives. If you have mastered 3 at the midterm, you will be given a D in Banner for your midterm grade. If you have mastered less than 3, you will receive an F for your midterm grade. Once you have mastered the 4 fundamentals, you have an opportunity to earn a higher grade. So for example, by the time we've finished the midterm, we will have covered 5 of the advanced objectives. And so if you have mastered all 4 fundamentals, then we turn to the advanced objectives and see how far your mastery extends. So if you've gotten 2 out of 5, then you have a C+. If you've gotten 4 out of 5, you have a B+. And if you've mastered all of the objectives at midterm, fundamentals and advanced, you have an A. At final, the situation is similar. By the time we finish the course, we will have covered 8 fundamental objectives. So to earn at least a C, you need 8 fundamental objectives mastered. To earn higher than a C, you must master those 8 and some percentage of the advanced. So notice, in order to get an A, you must earn mastery for 8 of the fundamentals and at least 11 of the 13 advanced objectives. So let's look at some examples for how this will work. It's the midterm of the course. Nathan has come to the midterm, and here is a chart showing which learning objectives Nathan has mastered. So when we look at Nathan's status, Nathan has mastered all 4 of the fundamentals. He has received a passed for the 4 fundamentals. He has not passed yet advanced 1 and advanced 2, but has passed 3, 4, and 5. So if I consult my chart, I have all 4 fundamentals, and I have 3 out of 5. Therefore, at the midterm, Nathan has earned a B. Let's look at another scenario. Here we are at the midterm of the course, and Nathan has passed fundamentals 1, 2, and 3, but has not yet passed fundamental 4. He has passed all 5 advanced objectives. Now, because Nathan has not yet passed one of the fundamental objectives, therefore he has earned a D at midterm, even though he has passed these advanced objectives. You cannot earn higher than a C unless you get all of the fundamentals. Now, in this scenario, because it is the midterm, if Nathan has tokens that he has not yet used, he can exchange a token for a retest on one of the scheduled retest days. And if he were to pass that 4th objective, he would move from a D to an A, because in this scenario, he would have mastered every objective so far. Let's look at an example from the end of the course. So now Nathan has gone through the whole course. We have passed all of the fundamental objectives, and he has passed all of the advanced except advanced number 6 and advanced number 10. So since Nathan has mastered and passed the 8 fundamentals and 11 of the 13 advanced, Nathan will receive an A in the course for his final grade. Let's look at one more scenario. It is now the end of the semester. Nathan has mastered all of the fundamentals. He has mastered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the advanced. Therefore, Nathan has mastered all of the fundamentals, but has not mastered enough of the advanced to earn a C+. Therefore, Nathan's grade for the semester is an 8 out of 8, which yields him a C for the final grade in the course. I know that this grading setup is likely new to you and you may have questions. There is more information that is found within the syllabus. We will also be going over how this system works in class at the beginning of the semester, as well as when we approach the midterm and the final. But if you do have questions that are not found in the syllabus, you may email me and I'll be glad to do whatever I can to make sure that it is clear how your grades will be calculated both at the midterm as well as the final.